Welcome to the first game of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Frozen Temple. And spawning to the top left-hand side in purple, it's our Protoss player from the US. It's Poizon, playing for Psystorm Gaming. And to the bottom right-hand side in pink, playing for Team Rudbloods. And Germany, it's Lady Azylis, who starts with Gateway and then into an Assimilator, while Poizon actually does the same. So nothing all too surprising down here. Poizon just getting down, not really checking for any sorts of proxies, but just moves right across the map. And probably she already thinks about that she will be able to see what her opponent is trying to do once she arrives at her main base. So Lady Azylis is already breaking out. Actually, it looks as if she just wants to have a good look for proxies herself before actually planting probably a proxy down here. So I think she is going for the Koshki build once more, and I just call it the Koshki build because actually Lady Azylis just started copying after seeing it. After seeing Koshki using it. No, she's not. She's actually going for her own typical cheese on that map she's used so often. So it's not the proxy 4-gate. It is actually Koshki only uses those, or only used those against Zergs. So she just goes for her own proxy build over here. So it's either going to be Stargate or Robo. I think last time I saw her doing it, it was a Stargate and a few Void Rays after maybe one Oracle. So let's see if she is again going into a Stargate or not. Poizon in the meantime just planted down a pylon down here, so she will be able to see if her opponent really tries to take another base down here, because then she would just try to tear this pylon down, or if she just wants to stay on one base, or maybe even taking a further away natural base, which is something you normally don't want to do. In the meantime, it seems as if Poizon seems to be quite unaware of what's going on. We'll see whether she will build a base down here or not. In the meantime, she will just start looking out for some sort of proxy cheeser. So it seems as if she's kinda aware what's going on, but she's just responding with her own attack over at Lady Azylis' side, and we'll see how this is going to work out. In the meantime, we have the Stargate out and the first Void Ray on its way. We don't actually have anything at home. There's not even a mothership core here, so I don't really know if Lady Azylis just skipped it per se. Oh no, there it is, never mind. Okay, it's just trying to shoot away at that pylon over here. So I think with the help of the mothership core, Lady Azylis should be quite secure inside her own main base, but of course she won't have photon overcharges forever, so at some point in the future she will have to do something in order to deal some damage over at Poizon's base and keep her attention over at here for quite some time. So in the meantime, it seems as if Poizon is totally aware what's going on, especially after seeing that there's no second base up yet. Just sees the rest of the gateways probably, and now should have actually found... Did she? And now should have actually found the proxy position over here. Lady Azylis just has another probe down here, just in case some structure should get killed and she needs to replace it. So it seems as if Poizon has just totally retreated. No, has actually lost, it seems. Yeah, there's one kill on that pylon. So she's actually lost, it seems, one of the adepts to the pylon and the other one to the mothership core. Not without, of course, killing some of that workers over here, so at least a little victory. In the meantime, we already have the first warp in over here and the second Void Ray out as well. Unfortunately for Poizon, who has just built a lot of stalkers, which are now going to be totally worthless against this Void Ray over here. And it seems, yeah, the Void Ray will even be able to kill the mothership core over here. There's such a significant loss for Poizon, who doesn't even have the chance of photon overcharging in order to help out her own structures. 3 more gateways are building for Poizon. They have now finally finished and will now open, giving Poizon the opportunity to just warp in more units. Poizon really needs to retreat right here, doesn't really want to lose these stalkers, needs to wait until the Void Ray overcharge has just expired and then maybe move in with all of her units in order to defend this. Mind that Lady Azylis is still on one base, but so is Poizon. So when Poizon just starts losing too many workers over here, it won't even really matter if she finally just manages to kill off these Void Rays or not. She will probably just not have the chance to come back into this game with too many losses. She's already down to to 33 supply, but she still has 18 workers. So if she stops this push right here and now, she might be able to get herself back into the game. With Lady Azylis not transitioning into anything, she really wants to decide the game right now. So now just walking in with the Void Rays once more. Poizon tries to focus fire down the Void Rays. At least the first one falls, but the other ones are still there. Losing the Mothership Core for a second time. How unfortunate for her is that? And now it's only Void Rays plus Stalkers against only a few Stalkers and a few more probes. Now more probes are going to get killed before the next warp-in round and the next Void Ray are going to arrive. Poizon sees that she doesn't have a chance to get back. GG's out, and Lady Azylis takes the first game. We're on Frost, ladies and gentlemen. Spawning to the bottom right-hand corner in purple. It's Poizon. And to the top left-hand corner in pink, we have Lady Azylis, who's leading 1-0, starting off with a mean little Void Ray cheese on Frozen Temple. Let's see if she can do it again, or if she actually needs to go into a macro game. So, let's see. It seems as if Lady Azylis just wants to go for a Nexus first on this map, which is quite interesting actually. I mean, it's a very long distance map if your opponent spawns cross-spawn, which Poizon actually did, but of course Lady Azylis couldn't know that by now. Couldn't have known that by now. So, let's see. I think it was just her plan right from the get-go. I mean, even with a horizontal spawn or a vertical spawn, the distances are still quite long. So you can actually get away with a Nexus first here. But of course, it's still a bit risky to do, especially against another Protoss opponent. A lot of your units will just come out a little bit later. But of course, with the help of the Mothership Core and some good placed pylons, you should always be able to take to just defend your natural base quite easily. So of course, if your opponent just goes for a heavy or ultra aggressive attack there, then you might be in trouble. But whoa, sorry for that, just unfortunately tipped down my mouse. Just wanted to regulate my volume there, and unfortunately my mouse just made everything just go up. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen. Poizon just walks in, has now seen that her opponent has already taken a natural base of her own, while she just plans to expand right now. Doesn't change up her game at all, just plans down the Nexus. She probably knows that at that point in time she won't really be able to punish her opponent for taking an early Nexus. So now she just has to live with the deficit, and that she will be behind economically for quite some time before finally just getting up with something. Throws down a Stargate here, so maybe she just wants to move in a few oracles here and there, knowing that the Mothership Core just won't have that much energy. And maybe even some of the pylons are not in best of positions and will probably even not have that many units out as well. So it might just work in her favor, especially down here. There's no defense whatsoever. First few Stalkers already in production. So it seems as if Lady Azylis either just likes opening with Stalkers first, or she just guesses that her opponent might do a Stargate build whatsoever. So it just depends whether she prepares using Stalkers. I mean, Stalkers are really great against anything. They are also good against the Adept openings, once you just manage to get out enough of them early in time. So yeah, why not just do it? In the meantime, finally Poizon's base has already finished. The first Oracle is in production. We have also a Stalker, another Stalker in production as well. And the Robo facility for Lady Azylis, which is actually quite interesting. It just depends on whether Poizon really wants to construct more air units out of this Stargate early on. Because then, of course, the Robo build could get problematic for Lady Azylis here. But if, of course, Poizon just moves back into her Gateway army or Gateway-based army and doesn't really want to commit too much into a Stargate build, then of course the Robo could just prove very useful here. So we'll see what is going to happen. Poizon can actually get a good scout with the Oracle if she just wants to do so. Okay, first few Stalkers are already in position, so I think Poizon should still get some kills if she wants to commit here. Maybe she just wants to fly in anyways, but there are now already 2 pylons in position. So with a Photon Overcharge, this should be cleared fairly easily. So if Poizon doesn't really want to lose her Oracle, Oracle. I think she just has to fly in and then really out it once more. If she really tries to get into the main base, she will have problems getting back out. Okay, nice try there. Just trying to plant down a stasis ward there and then just to freeze most of the probes and keep them from mining. But the Stalkers are in place, just denying that attempt. So very well done by her. And actually Poizon's build just becomes more and more worthless, unfortunately, I have to say, because she was later with the base. She should be behind in economy, and so she is. She's also, of course of that, behind in tech by a little bit, and she didn't manage to do any damage with her harassment. So, we will see whether it's going to work out or not. Second Oracle is not on the way. It just stopped at home, probably just because she couldn't really see what was going on. Poison, that is. She didn't really know what her opponent was doing. So there could have been a possibility of Dark Templars, and to have some detection at home, she just left the second Oracle at home as well. Could have otherwise just tried to fly it in from back here, maybe even just luring the Stalkers back to then just come in from that angle again. But yeah, quite nicely, after seeing that it's mostly a robo build, now Poizon just switches back to her Stargate and starts producing more Void Rays while also throwing down a Twilight Council and a Forge as well. So in the meantime, no one is actually trying to take a third base here. Oh, well, I'm talking about Lady Azylis does. So quite nice again, she's just ahead in everything, and just Poizon also getting her third base up. So it seems as if both players just want to get back to a good old macro game. Neither side just sees a good advantage or an advantage big enough in order to just take the lead in an early attack. So they both just lean back and try to get the most out of their macro, which is now actually happening. Azylis actually throwing down a few photon cannons. She doesn't really want to be too open to other Oracle attacks, and of course she knows who's she playing, and that Poizon is well known as the DT Queen, so eventually you want to have some cannons for detection and also as means of defending your mineral line and a lot of the bases, a lot of the buildings around them. So in the meantime we have the Resonating Glaives upgrade incoming, which is quite interesting. The attack speed upgrade for the Adepts, which make them dish out more damage over time. So, I don't really know if it's actually going to work out that well. I mean, it's mostly Stalkers. The Adepts deal quite some damage, but it's mostly damage against light units, so they have extra bonus damage against light units, but Stalkers are not. So if Poizon just continues producing mostly Stalkers and Void Rays off of 3 bases, I think this unit composition shouldn't really work out all too well for Poizon. And I feel that she should be quite glad seeing what Azylis actually has at that moment. Okay, knowing that she has a third base up and it's better saturated way earlier than her opponent because she never stopped producing any workers, and has now 16 workers over here, 15 workers over here, and even 23 over here, but these will just be better saturated once these gases are finished, or once these assimilators are finished, and then she can transfer some of these probes back into gas. So yeah, actually a very, very nice income here for Lady Azylis, and we see that it's almost 800, almost 1,000 minerals more than her opponent per minute. So the longer the game goes, actually everything looks a little bit better for Lady Azylis, except maybe for her unit composition. I mean, yes, the Immortals are great against the Stalkers, but not so good against the Void Rays. And there's actually only a few units that can shoot up. So I think the best thing for Poizon would be right now to just go into more Stargates and just mass produce Stargate units in order to just out macro and then demolish her opponent. So Azylis actually has a hallucinated scout out here, just sees the army composition of Poizon quite well. So in the meantime she also produces some charge, gets more upgrades from the Forge. So yeah, actually with charge and a lot of charge lots, she could tear quite easily through the ground forces of Poizon. But the question still remains, will she have enough in order to take out Poizon's air units early enough? Or the other way around, if Poizon just loses everything on the ground, will her air units still provide her enough damage in order to take everything out on the ground before it can just demolish everything she has. Because even if you have a few units that your opponent cannot really attack because the units cannot shoot up, then it's still the problem that they might just deal so much damage on the ground while it takes an eternity to take out their units. So nice move here by Poizon, just getting the 4th base way earlier than her opponent, because Azylis is not even thinking about taking a 4th base. Seems as if she just wants to max out on 3 bases and then kill her opponent with whatever she has. I mean, if we just have a look at the upgrades, it's looking so much better for Lady Azylis. She's already getting 3-3 done fairly early in the game. So a macro is actually really excellent at the moment. But of course I like this move by Poizon, just trying to get back into the economic race by taking this base a little bit earlier than her opponent. The supply counts are fairly even, and now finally Poizon just starts using her Stargates, has in the meantime produced another one in order to pump out more air units in the form of Tempests. Still, I mean, Tempests are great, they can shoot from afar, and if you still have an Oracle in place that can tag the army, you can just chase this army forever from a far distance. But still, I don't. Yeah, she just can't get that Oracle over here. That's why Poizon smiles a little bit. She's just found the sweet spot where nothing can actually attack her, but she will probably not be able. Oh, well, maybe actually, eventually she will be able to just get it back. So yeah, I mean, the Tempests are still great. You can just shoot from a far distance at your opponent if the opponent is tagged, but in the meantime, it just takes forever to take anything out with the Tempest. They don't really provide great DPS. Unless you have a big amount of them. So let's see. In the meantime, we have Lady Azylis just trying to harass her opponents. Potential 4th base. She herself just thinks that her opponent might have taken the 4th base down there. Will probably be surprised to not find it here. In the meantime, actually, Poizon has had the same idea, only with a few less Zealots over there, so the Zealots won't really deal that much damage. Actually killed a few cannons that were just in the making. So in the meantime, we have Azylis just finding the 4th base that is not there, now walking into the 3rd, but there's the Stasis Ward just capturing a few of these Zealots over here, and then the rest of the main army is just at the 3rd base, so no way for Azylis to deal significant damage whatsoever. So maybe Azylis thinks that her opponent has only taken 3 bases so far, or she will just be aware that her opponent might have taken a different 4th. And in this case even a 5th already, while Azylis is still on, well, actually only 3 bases. I mean, this base is not really saturated, while this base already is. And if we see, Poizon has already taken the lead in the supply count and also in the income. So great working back by her, now even getting a mothership. And also a few carriers out as well, and suddenly her army has become quite strong. And the only thing that Azylis actually now has against air units are mostly these Archons. I mean, these Stalkers will just die. It's only 4 of them anyways, and they will just die to everything that Poizon also has on the ground. Seems as if Poizon just wants to clear the Watchtower over here, maybe even wants to sacrifice a few units in order to make room for more high-tech air units. Yeah, and I mean, once the Golden Armada is on the field, there's not really much that Poizon can that Azylis can actually do. I think Azylis mostly just missed her timing window, her window of opportunity, where she could have just killed something. I mean, she's seen that her opponent was trying to get in with the observer over here, so Poizon won't really deal that much damage. Actually, it seems as if she will do no damage whatsoever, except for a little bit of hull damage, and that is of course a big giveaway, unfortunately, here for Poizon. Seems as if she's just misrallied a few of her units, and now the carriers are right out in the open. Finally, she realizes, tries to turn them around, and fortunately just saves one of them with very low hit points here. So a little miss micro there, actually a big miss micro there by Poizon. Like I said, probably just a misrallying of the Stargates. But yeah, I mean, what can Azylis actually do? I mean, does Azylis actually have some detection with the army? There's one observer, but I think there's one with the army. Okay, never mind. So she will at least be able to see what's underneath the mothership core, but there's just so much firepower here. Well, maybe, I mean, it's not that much firepower. It's mostly Void Rays. The carriers are not with the army. But like I said, I mean, once the units that can shoot air are down, okay, a few storms go down, just hitting most of these Void Rays here and the mothership as well. But like I said before, this is now the big problem. Once the ground units have been cleared, but there's just not enough left in order to shoot air, what are you going to do against this army? And I don't actually know why Poizon is not really chasing this army. Maybe she just fears that her opponent has a lot of gateways backed up, so she will be able to just warp in a lot of stalkers and then maybe just chase her and shoot down everything she has, because there's not that much DPS within this army. Also, the Void Ray overcharge has already been expired, so she probably just didn't want to take a risk. She just killed most of Lady Azylis' army there quite well. And again, Lady Azylis, what does she do from here? I mean, just desperately trying to produce a few more stalkers in order to have some more units that can actually shoot up. I mean, her units have good upgrades, but so do Poizon's units as well. I mean, it's 3-3 for the ground forces, but it's 2-2 for ground forces for Poizon as well. And especially, no, it's 3-2, never mind. Oh, it's actually 2-2 and 2 shields. It's the 2 shield upgrade, because yeah, that was of course a good idea by Poizon, getting the shield upgrade rather than the armor upgrade, because shields, every Protoss unit actually profits from shield upgrades, while only the ground units really profit from the armor. So yeah, actually a nice idea here. Lady Azylis again trying to harass with a few zealots she doesn't need anyways over here, also sending in a few DTs, but these are just wasted resources, unfortunately. Mostly move commanding in here as well, and Poizon's army is just there early enough in order to take everything down. Her own DTs have found the 5th base of Lady Azylis in the meantime. Not really the best idea, taking a base up here once she knew that Poizon didn't really expand towards that direction, so she must have actually known that she was actually expanding towards Poizon's 5th and 6th base. So that was not really the most clever move by her. So let's see, Azylis just has a lot of army down here. It's 196 army supply, but it's just not the army she needs, which is just the biggest problem. I mean, the longer she waits, the more air army Poizon is going to get and going to gather. So, like I said before, once this Golden Armada finally hits with the Archons beneath it and a few Zealots as well to just serve as meat shield, I mean, of course she can always destroy the ground forces of Poizon, no problem there. But killing the air units afterwards, I just don't see it happening. So in the meantime, another harassment down here. Azylis finally just sent in most of the Zealots back from the 4th base location. But yeah, Poizon will just be able to clear this up with DTs, no detection over here whatsoever. In the meantime, Azylis tries to take another 5th base over here, but Poizon just denies it with another Dark Templar. Will now even actually be able to kill off more workers, and then maybe even the photon cannons that are just in the making. So Lady Azylis actually would have to cancel that, but doesn't. Ooh, another 300 minerals down the gutter. So, let's see what's going to happen down here. We might have a big engagement at our hands. Okay, even nicely done, a stasis ward over here. So if she just lures some of these units into the stasis ward, a lot of those units won't even be able to fight. And there's the big air fight against mostly ground units. A lot of them can't even shoot up. The only units that could are the Archons, but they are stuck behind the rest of the army. So free fire for everything, and Poizon just kills her opponent without even breaking a sweat or just losing any of her units. And that should be game, ladies and gentlemen. Lady Azylis drops below 100 supply. Has, like I said, just unfortunately missed the timing window, the window of opportunity for herself. Tries to get away with most of these Archons, but even if she does, it doesn't really matter anymore. Poizon is on more bases, has the better tech. GG, and Poizon ties the series 1-1. So, we're back on Apotheosis. It's the 3rd game of this best of 3, spawning to the bottom right hand side. In pink, it's Lady Azylis, playing as Protoss for Red Bloods. And to the top left hand corner in purple, Playing for Team Psystorm as Protoss, it's Poizon, who's just managed to get herself back into the game with, yeah, nice macro mechanics. You can't just say it otherwise. I mean, it was mostly macro and making the right unit composition. That was actually what brought her the win. She just clawed herself back into the game after Azylis just missed out on attacking her opponent a little bit early on, because she might have been able to crush her fairly easily at some point in time throughout the game, but like I said, she's just missed it, and unfortunately she had to pay for that mistake and lost the game because of it. So, both of these players just checking what their opponent is doing fairly early on. We see that Azylis is actually taking, again, a fairly early Nexus there. Seems as if Poizon just wants to go for a more gateway-heavy pressure build. So she will definitely have the possibilities to be more aggressive in that early on in that game. So Azylis actually sees everything, so she knows what she's going up against. Has already placed down her own assimilator, so no gas steal for Poizon possible there. And in the meantime, we have the cybernetics core in the making, same for Poizon here. But of course, Poizon will have the possibility to now produce 2 units at once, and it's going to be adepts, which was pretty obvious there. While Lady Azylis actually only has 1, but will also have a mothership core and an earlier base. So it mostly just depends on how much damage Poizon will actually be able to deal with these adepts. She will just send them across the map immediately. Will probably also use the shades in order to make them walk across the map a lot earlier than usual. So in the meantime, Azylis has just blocked the gold base over here because she hadn't seen a Nexus down here. She was just thinking that maybe, just maybe, Poizon would be trying to get the gold base as well, because she's seen that her opponent had taken a Nexus way earlier than herself. But yeah, she just denied it using that pylon here. Nice idea, by the way. So in the meantime, we have the other probe just checking for another base down here, or just actually keeping her opponent maybe a little bit busy, and just checking for locations while she's down there. Okay, adepts on their way. It's a friggin' large map. It doesn't look as big on the map screen down here in the left corner, but it's actually huge. It's really huge. The walking distances are enormous. And even with using the shades regularly, it still takes some time in order to get over here. So, 1 Stalker is in position, a few probes down here. We also have the Mothership Core in position as well. Actually, this pylon is only covering a part of this mineral line, but there's also a second one over here. So I think with Photon Overcharge and the Stalker, Azylis should actually be able to clear this off, but yeah, to clean this up, but not without losing probes. And I mean, it's already 8 down, and maybe this adept might even get another probe before dying. No! Whoa, but it gets Azylis to fire up another pylon overcharge over here. So it's 8 workers dead already for Azylis, but that was actually the damage that Poizon needed to do, because they're now on the same footing. So in the meantime, Poizon has managed to get up her own base here, can now saturate it. Still a little bit of a better income for Azylis here, I think. Of course, only if she starts just sending these workers back to work. And there they go. So since Miyako is in the chat, I think she will not be glad to see these French probes not working down here. So, in the meantime, we have 1 Oracle on the way for Lady Azylis. Quite interesting. After choosing the Robo way, the Robo route last game, she now just goes into a Stargate, but the same actually applies for Poizon as well, and she's already started to produce a few Phoenixes. So, Void Race afterwards. So it seems as if this time around both players just might be going down the same route in order to produce armies. So this army fight, or the next army fight we're going to see, could just be a little bit more on even footing than the last one. If we just have a look at the macro of both players, they're fairly even. We don't actually see that in the supply count. Seems as if Poizon just managed to squeeze out a few more units in the meantime. So, not preparing to take a third yet, but she will eventually do that, I think. Does anyone have any nice scouting around? Okay, Poizon just scouts with her actual Phoenix. It's not a hallucinated one. It's the real thing. So even tries to take out the mothership core, but Azylis will probably just even getting her to fire up another pylon once more. So this core is on really low energy here. But the Phoenix just parks over here. Will probably get taken down by these stalkers. So Poizon, unfortunately, not really paying attention anymore. Loses just one Phoenix for free. A little bit unfortunate for her, but actually I think she can really afford it. It's not too bad of a loss in that situation. Third Nexus now finally going down, and this time at the gold base. So it really gets time for Azylis to take a gold of her own, but she doesn't. She actually just tears down the rocks over here. So this only will give Poizon one way to enter her natural base via that route. So of course, Lady Azylis now... Oh no, she just wants to kill it again so that it won't be able for Poizon to kill them and then maybe just cut her off from her own bases. If she just maybe attacked like over here, lured her units over to that part and then maybe sneak in from behind, tearing down these rocks, and then, like I said, just cutting off the rest of Lady Azylis' army. So maybe that was just what she was wondering about, or was just fearing, so that she just tries to prevent it by just taking out these rocks twice. So in the meantime, one Oracle just gets into the main base of Lady Azylis, again killing more and more workers. So the Oracle just flies away, no more photon overcharge available, and now, yeah, this becomes a big problem that Lady Azylis just was a bit wasteful with most of her photon overcharges throughout the game so far. And 11 more probes just die, 55 workers to 37 right now. Another few die as well once the Oracle tries to move out, but finally the Void Ray just chases it away, not even killing it. And now finally we have the third base trying to be set up at the gold base, at the gold minerals. But the third for Poizon is already up. And Poizon actually has enough minerals left over in order to even take a fourth base if she wants to. Should actually probably throw down a few more production buildings in order to get out more gateway army, but it seems she doesn't really want to get that gateway heavy anyways, or at least not right now. I mean, we have these Stargates just pumping one unit at a time. Finally, Poizon has managed to get out a second Stargate as well, is now just transitioning into the mighty Protoss Air Army. And like I said before, we're probably going to see a quite similar fight as in the last game, with the only exception that both players now finally managed to go into air units. The question will of course be, at the point in time when both armies clash, who's going to have the better army, more units, better upgrades, and maybe even more of the counter units for the opponent's air units. So we'll see how everything is going to work out. Right now, Poizon is just looking excellently in this game. I mean, oh, it's just looking excellent in this game. Sorry, never mind. So yeah, she's just looking excellent in this game. She has a bigger army. She has the better income. And we can even see that down here, way better income already. She has the better tech, no upgrades yet, which is a bit surprising and unfortunate. I mean, she really started to produce her upgrades in the last game fairly early on. Seems as if she really doesn't want to give Lady Azylis too much time, just wants to poke and prod and maybe get a little bit more view of what her opponent has. Okay, sends an hallucinated Phoenix, or was it a real one? I think that one was hallucinated, right? So yeah, should have been an hallucinated one, and sees actually what Lady Azylis has there and where it stands, but it seems as if she doesn't want to retreat, but still decides to attack. So we'll see how this is going to work out, and if it's going to work out well or not. Could actually just send in the Oracle in order to tag the army with a Revelation spell, but yeah, she just decides to move in. I mean, she has a good concave possible here. Maybe just actually, ooh, nicely done here, the Stasis Ward that might actually just catch a lot of these units once more. Seems as if Lady Azylis this time around has just realized what it's set up there. She doesn't have detection available, but she knows that the Stasis Ward is in there. Unfortunately, she just loses a lot of the adepts while trying to get close to the army. And again, it seems as if Poizon just has done it. Yeah, she just goes through everything with half of the army of Lady Azylis just missing within this fight. The remaining half just gets torn apart, and once this half just finally gets out of stasis, there will not be enough army left in order to kill what Poizon has here. Not even enough units in order to take down the air units anymore. The third base is going to die, and that's going to be it, I fear. Poizon should take this game quite easily, while even taking a fourth base behind it. Okay, Lady Azylis just trying to escape with as many probes as possible, but the Zealots are already chasing, and like I said before, I mean, what does Lady Azylis want to produce here? There's just nothing she can do. She doesn't even have a Dark Shrine to come back from. So, and even if she had, I mean, the air units are something that the Archons could never reach anyways. Okay, seems as if Poizon just doesn't want to overcommit. She's seen that her opponent was just morphing a lot of Archons into the mix. Does she already have Templars with Storm? Well, she does have Templars, but no Storm available yet. Is Storm even in the making, or has it been made? It seems as if it has been made, but not enough energy right now. I don't really know if... I mean, good Storms could actually just kill off this army fairly easily. But like I said before, I mean, it just doesn't matter. Even if Lady Azylis doesn't die right now, the possibilities of getting back into this game are just so low. I mean, Poizon could just always retreat, wait for maxed... for max supply of army units. She has her fourth base up. She's just 2 bases ahead of her opponent. I mean, the gold is slightly getting dry, or slowly getting drier and drier, but it just, like I said, I mean, she could easily just take a 5th base up here as well. Look at the mineral and gas income count here. It just doesn't really matter. She just has so many units, and because of that stasis ward, actually again trying to lure into the stasis ward, and Lady Azylis falls for it for the second time. GG's out, and Poizon finally takes the game with a 2-1, advances to the semifinals.